Hopefully, at the moment, Nintendo are planning out what they want to happen in Splatoon 3 in terms of the story mode. I am sure they already thought about this in terms of when they did come up with the Final Splatfest and the topic. I am sure they did come up with a couple of storylines, and yeah, if Team Chaos did win, which of course it did do, then they would have gone with one storyline. But say like if Team Order did win the Final Splatfest, I'm sure they had a storyline in place, and yeah, right now what they are doing is fully sort of planning out what will happen in the story mode. So what I will be doing in this video is discussing my Splatoon 3 story predictions and yeah, what I want to see in the story mode. And I would love it if you guys did the same in the comment section below, because what I will be doing later on in my sort of Splatoon 3 series is talking about your theories, talking about what you guys want to see in Splatoon 3, because I'm sure it differs to what I want to see. And yeah, what I will be doing is discussing your theories, your predictions, what you want to see in various videos. I did the same with the Octo Expansion DLC. I did talk about your theories. I really did enjoy that series, and yeah, I will definitely be doing the same for Splatoon 3. So yeah, when the Final Splatfest did get announced, and with that trailer, with the artwork, how you had certain characters sort of lined up depending on what team they are on certain parts of the artwork, I thought that basically the Final Splatfest would have led into a civil war between certain characters in universe. They are being led by Pearl and Marina. But yeah, that sort of idea, it got me really excited. I would have loved it if Splatoon 3 was focused around like a civil war. That would have been really cool to play, in my opinion. I'm sure some people wouldn't have liked it, seeing Pearl and Marina sort of be enemies to one another. I don't think the community would have been fully on board with it, which is how probably some of you guys might differ from my opinions. I would have loved to have seen that sort of thing, because it would have been really different. It would have been so out there to what Nintendo have done with the story modes in Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2. It could have meant for something epic. It could have made for something fresh, if like lack of a better term really, but yeah, it could have meant for something really fresh with the story mode in Splatoon 3. But with the Final Splatfest results dialogue, how Pearl and Marina, they are never going to break up. They will always remain as off the hook. I think that whole sort of civil war idea, I think it can definitely be put to bed. I think that was only just for the artwork. It was just to build up the Final Splatfest. But I definitely did have the idea with how the characters were laid out. I thought, you know what, maybe it could have led into a civil war in the Splatoon universe. But yeah, I don't think that will happen now. It was just for the Final Splatfest. It was just like for that sort of purpose only. But in terms of what I want to see in the Splatoon 3 story mode, now that we know that Chaos did win the Final Splatfest, I want Nintendo to be bold and brave and not be afraid to rip up the Splatoon rulebook and not be afraid to do something completely different with the story mode. I would really like to see a situation where Splatoon 3 is set in a post-apocalyptic world. I talked about this before, but Splatoon is set in a post-apocalyptic world where the sea levels rose up, destroyed the human race. Maybe Splatoon 3 could be set in a post-apocalyptic world where Inkopolis is destroyed. We have to work out how it got destroyed, why it got destroyed, who destroyed it, and we have to rebuild Inkopolis elsewhere. That would be really cool to see. There are two options that Nintendo could do with this idea. The first one is that Inkopolis is already destroyed. The Splatoon 3 story mode is set 3 years into the future, say like if it does come out 3 years from now, maybe the Splatoon 3 story mode could jump in at that point, and Inkopolis is already destroyed at that point, and we get told how it got destroyed. But my preferred option is that the Splatoon 3 story mode progresses, where it starts off really peaceful. You would think nothing has really changed that much. Maybe the hub area is in a completely different area this time around. Maybe the idols will be completely different. But to start off with, it is completely normal. But then something major, something flipping massive happens in the world of Splatoon. Inkopolis gets destroyed. I'm not sure by what. I'm not sure whether by another species, another geological event. But yeah, Inkopolis gets destroyed. But that's how it completely changes things, and we have to work out who is attacking Inkopolis, who destroyed it, and we have to try and work out a safe area to rebuild the Inkopolis society. Maybe Inkopolis is completely destroyed. We have to try and recruit people to the Squid Beat Splatoon. Maybe it is being attacked by a completely new species, maybe like the Macoids in Project Splatoon 3, and it starts off another great turf war, where say like if the Macoids does win, then that is it. You know, pretty much Inkopolis would be completely different. Inklings and Octolings would be ruled by the Macoids, and the Macoids would take over and rule everything. I think that sort of aspect where maybe say like, I don't know, I'd love it if there was like an option where you got like two sort of endings, where say like if you are successful, then yeah, Inkopolis gets back to normal, society rebuilds to something close to what we currently know at the moment. But say like if we do fail, then maybe something like a brand new species could take over, like the Splatoon 3 story mode, like the whole sort of Splatoon 3 world. But I'm not sure how Nintendo could implement that sort of aspect, just because the whole sort of Splatoon 3 story mode wouldn't really impact on the multiplayer. So yeah, as great as that sounds, having two sort of endings where maybe the Macoids could take over, you got to remember that with the multiplayer you got like the same hosts, you're gonna have like the same sort of multiplayer stages, and you will probably still see Inklings and Octolings still walk around in the same sort of hub area. So yeah, having this Splatoon 3 story mode impact in a way where a brand new species could take over, it would have to be in everybody's game. So I don't think that sort of two ending sort of situation, yeah, I think that would be really cool if that did happen, but I think that would be impossible to implement with Splatoon because it is mainly a multiplayer game. But yeah, I think it would be really cool if Inkopolis did get destroyed and it did lead into another great turf war where we would play through it this time around. That would definitely be really cool. But even if that doesn't happen, say like if there is just a threat to Inkopolis, I think it would be really cool to sort of play through that sort of scenario where we have to try and stop Inkopolis getting destroyed. That would be really cool to see, although it sort of did happen in the DLC where Commander Tartar did try and destroy Inkopolis, and we did get to see Inkopolis get destroyed if we did fail in the final boss. So yeah, maybe that sort of aspect has already been done before. But yeah, I think Inkopolis getting destroyed, I think that would be really cool to see. It would fit in with the chaos sort of scenario. But another sort of route that Nintendo could do with the Splatoon 3 story mode is that, like what I did mention before, a brand new species does come along and try and upset what is happening right now. And yeah, maybe that could be another route that Nintendo does take. Another sort of aspect that I did think about is that maybe Nintendo could implement not only Team Chaos winning the Final Splatfest, but also implement some sort of team order aspect into Splatoon 3 story mode. And like what I did talk about before, having a brand new species take over Inkopolis, it would not only cause chaos, but also you would have that same sort of order aspect to it, where it would be like a dictatorship ruling over Inklings and Octolings. And maybe in that situation, maybe you would play as a new agent in the Squid Beat Splatoon, and you would have to try and take down this new species that has taken over Inkopolis. But that sounds like if Order did win the Final Splatfest and not Chaos. But maybe Nintendo would try and implement a story mode that has mainly a Chaos sort of theme to it, but maybe have elements of Order in there. That would definitely be really cool to see. But yeah, in relation to that, I thought maybe Pearl, maybe she might get cocky in Splatoon 3 story mode. She tries and takes over Inkopolis and implement her ideas for what she wants to see in Inkopolis, causing chaos. It completely rips up what is happening in the Inkopolis society, and pretty much Marina and the Squid Beat Splatoon will try and stop Pearl, make her see her ways somewhat. She turns into like a dictator sort of figure, and in Splatoon 3 you will try and sort of make Pearl see her way somewhat. Marina will join you, maybe as Agent A, maybe as a brand new agent, and you will have to try and stop Pearl from completely destroying Inkopolis. Maybe Pearl has completely driven away all of the Octarian sort of figures. Maybe you will start off elsewhere from Inkopolis. Maybe you can't go back to Inkopolis. Maybe that sort of situation could play out. But yeah, these ideas are pretty out there. But yeah, this is what I want Nintendo to do. I don't want Nintendo to do the same old tried and tested like what they have done before. I don't want to see the great Zapfish getting like kidnapped or getting taken away again. I don't want to see like a rescue mission where DJ Octavio gets broken free from the globe he is in, and then he is the final boss for the Splatoon 3 story mode. I want Nintendo to do something different with it be my Inkopolis gets destroyed idea. I'm not sure who would be the final boss in that sort of situation, but say like if Nintendo did implement a new species, that would be my preferred sort of option. Maybe could merge the two ideas together, like what I did discuss earlier, where the new species come along and completely destroys Inkopolis, and you have to try and drive them back. And yeah, I definitely did like what Squeaky did come up with in the Project Splatoon 3 story mode. I would love it if Nintendo did do something similar, but my prediction is that Nintendo will just stick with the same old tried and tested method, and maybe in Splatoon 3, maybe Commander Tartar will sort of take away the Zapfish again. We have to rescue it again. But yeah, I want Nintendo to do something different with the single player. And in terms of the gameplay, currently in the single player, it is like a tutorial of like Splatoon. It sort of teaches us the main mechanics of Splatoon, and maybe Nintendo should still keep that aspect in there for new players. But I don't want it to just be right, go from point A to point B. That is what the single player is right now. Maybe they could still do that aspect, but still sort of implement like what they did do in Octo Expansion DLC, where you've got challenges to do in a set amount of time. Maybe the difficulty could progress as you get further. The Octo Expansion was quite hard in some levels. I can remember Girl Power Station, it took me like 2 or 3 hours to sort of work out what weapon to use, what weapon will like sort of take me through that level as quick as possible. That worked out to be the roller in my situation. But yeah, maybe Nintendo should still sort of keep the point A to point B aspect, but still have optimal expansion levels in there. But what I want to see Nintendo do with the single player is have more exploration to it. I want Nintendo to sort of treat it like a 3D platformer where you can sort of like go anywhere. The levels aren't just sort of linear. You can sort of explore in those levels as well, and I would love like sort of like an open world aspect to it as well. But yeah, I don't think Nintendo will go down that route. I think Nintendo will just stick with the single player being a tutorial, and in terms of what happens in that story mode, I think it will just be more of the same, unfortunately. But let me know your thoughts in terms of what you want to see in the story mode for Splatoon 3 and what you think Nintendo will actually do. They are two completely different questions. It's like I want to see Nintendo do something different, like destroying Inkopolis, introducing a brand new species, but I don't think Nintendo will do that, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely am looking forward to your answers to those two questions. So yeah, this is pretty much the first Splatoon 3 video. I've got many other Splatoon 3 discussion videos where I will be discussing what I want to see in Splatoon 3, and in my next video I will be talking about the idols for Splatoon 3 and what I think will happen in terms of that. But that's pretty much it for this video, and yeah, hopefully I will see you in another video soon. Apologies if this video was a little bit all over the place. Maybe I went a little bit too far in my ideas with what I want to see in the Splatoon 3 story mode. It's just that I want Nintendo with Splatoon 3 to try and do something a little bit different than what they have done before. So they are just my ideas. I would love to see Inkopolis get destroyed. That would definitely cause chaos in the world of Inkopolis, as well as introducing a brand new species that also wants to take down Inklings and Octolings. But that's pretty much it for this video, and hopefully I will see you in my next one soon.